All right, this is what we've been waiting for, the exclamatory sentence. All right, so when we usually think of exclamatory sentences, we think of sentences that are spoken with a very heightened emotion, and therefore we're like, oh, give it an exclamation point. Well, a couple things are wrong there. First of all, it's called an exclamation mark, not an exclamation point, and it has nothing to do with your heightened emotion. I know that's what we've been taught all these years. And my daughter, who's in third grade, has been knowing this for 2 years now. And so she says, you use an exclamation point, Dad, when you have a lot of emotion. So you'd say things like, I hate purple, exclamation point. Take those creepy hippies out of here right now, exclamation point. Don't anybody move, exclamation point. And all those are really grammatically incorrect. First off, I hate purple is a declarative sentence, and declarative sentences take periods. So just put a period. If you really hate purple, that's fine, but you don't need an exclamation point. And if you say, take those creepy hippies out of here right now and don't anybody move, that's great, but those are just imperative sentences and they also just take a period. So you're like, wait a minute, then why have I always been allowed to use an exclamation point that way? And what is the purpose of it? Let me enlighten you. So exclamatory sentences have gone through a transformation because they've been shifted in their word order. So I want you to capture at least one of these four examples. I could say, what a pleasant lunch monitor we have. How very peaceful this morning is. What a Twitter-loving president we elected. Oh, what a piece of work is man. That's from Shakespeare from Hamlet. Each of these are exclamatory sentences written in an exclamatory form correctly, and therefore they get an exclamation mark. It's an exclamation mark. And so what you notice then in each of these is the sentences have been shifted in order. When I transform them back, what I'm really saying is, we have a pleasant lunch monitor, or this morning is very peaceful, or we elected a Twitter-loving president, or man is a piece of work. You'll notice that what I've done is I've taken we have and I've moved it to the back. I've taken this morning and I've moved it to the back. I've basically taken the back of the sentence we elected and moved it to the front or switched it around. It's been flip-flopped. And in order for the flip-flop to actually happen, you have to include one of two words. If you ever use an exclamation mark, you have to begin with one of two words, which is how or what. It's the only way of actually making it work. So in order for it to work, use how or what, and then the rest of the sentence has to be flip-flopped. But what remains has to be a sentence. So you couldn't say, happy birthday, exclamation mark, or how cool. You have to say how cool this is, because what you're saying is this is cool. So we have to use the word what or how. So let me show you what I mean. It marks the exclamation. So it looks like sometimes a question because it starts off with a question word like what or how. So if I said, what useless math homework did we have? What useless math homework did we have? How do you know which way to read it? So imagine someone coming into your first period class, they are just exhausted. They are like, oh, I forgot to do my math homework last night. And then they turn to you and they say, what useless math homework did we have? Well, they might be asking you a question. What useless math homework did we have? And therefore, if they're asking a question, you kind of read it that way. You kind of inflect it as like, what useless math homework did we have? But what if the person did the homework last night and they came in and they're like, oh, that was so pointless last night. And they sigh and they say, oh, what useless math homework did we have? Now, I'm not sure anyone ever talks that way, but if you wanted to, you could. And if you say it that way, you're basically inverting the sentence. You're saying, we did have useless math homework. Whereas the other one is saying, we did have useless math homework as a question. So what I like about foreign language classes is they oftentimes in foreign languages, they mark the sentence ahead of time so you know, hey, read this way as opposed to read it this way, because structurally they can look exactly the same. And how do I know if it's a sigh and I'm sighing something or if I'm questioning something? But I want you to remember it's a mark. It's an exclamation mark. This was a punctuation that we created to mark that it's a question. This is a punctuation that we use to mark that it's an inverted order, and therefore it marks the sentence. Let's try diagramming one. I can tell, I can feel your energy. You're excited to do it. Do I want to keep my annotations? Absolutely not. but I do want a diagram. Let's take a look at number 5. What a jerk Mr. Marsh is sometimes. Sometimes I always am. Let's diagram this one. So when I invert this one around, ignore this word what and just simply rebuild your sentence, which is Mr. Marsh is sometimes a jerk. All right, so here's our subject, moi. My verb is. I'm going to slant my line because I am jerk. I am a jerk. When am I a jerk? Just sometimes, not all the time. Maybe most times, I don't know. Here's sometimes. Dandy. But, the grammar gods want us to put the word what somewhere in the sentence. So this is where I'll tell you where the author puts it. I disagree with her. She puts the word what right here as a way of modifying the word jerk. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I think it's wrong, but I have no problem with it. I see the word what in front of the word a. And for me, the word a starts the noun phrase, which is a jerk. Why did I underline the word Marsh? Come on, seriously. So I think a describes the word jerk. When what is in front of it, then I think what describes the word a. And so I'm going to put mine here and say it's what a jerk. It's like saying quite a jerk. I think quite describes the word a. It's not quite jerk, but it's quite a jerk, or what a jerk. And so that's why I would put it there. This is a pattern 3 because it's a subject to be verb and then into a noun. All right. Good work today.